Welcome. This is a beautiful day when we come together to hold the still voice of peace in our hearts. And today is the equinox, the day of balance between the light and the dark. And we welcome audiences from Australia, from India, from Europe, Middle East, from Africa, from America, wherever you are watching this from home. This is for you. We hope you will have a wonderful experience with us as we hold the still voice of peace together in our hearts and remember we are one. And my name is Roger Casali from World Upshift Movement. And I'm speaking to you from Assisi, the birthplace of St. Francis. And so we are not a religious organization, but we respect the fact that this is the birthplace of St. Francis, and this is the bread of St. Francis. We break bread together symbolically. And I want to thank Ananda Global. This is coming to you from Ananda Village. I'm sitting here in Assisi, but our team in Ananda Village, Ananda, are supporting us. Thanks to the spiritual leaders of Ananda, Yotish and Devi. We thank them so much for supporting this event, not just this event, but our series of events. And I'd like to thank Michael Macy and Enacting Peace, that we're our partners in this series of Solstice and Equinox meditations, and my colleague Lauren Moore, who today can't be with us because of an important family event, or a sad family event she's at today. And we send her our love and our appreciation for having organized today's Equinox meditation for peace. And just to remember, yesterday was the International Day of Peace, the day we hold peace in our hearts. Tomorrow, we can work again to enact peace in the world, but today is about holding peace in our hearts. And so I go now to Jitendra Guindon, who is one of the spiritual leaders from the Ananda Village in California, who is going to welcome us to the Ananda Village and start our event today. Jitendra, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Roger, and thank you all for hosting such an important and sacred event. We're hosting from Ananda Village in Northern California, where we are a part of a work worldwide where we follow the teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda, who came from India in 1920 to America to bestow the teachings of the great ones, the path of Kriya Yoga, as well as a part of his mission was to show and unite all religions, to show that oneness that lies behind all true teachings. And so it's such an honor and joy to celebrate our oneness in such an event as this. Ananda Village in Ananda was created by Swami Kriyananda, who was a direct disciple of Paramhansa Yogananda and was a dear teacher and guide for many of us to go deeper on this path. And again, one of the deepest blessings of this particular path is indeed that we recognize, we celebrate, and we honor all souls in that which unites us all. So I thought we could begin today with an invocation. We'll have a chant that was written by Paramhansa Yogananda. We'll put the lyrics on the chat for you all, and then we'll meditate together. And in some way, at this exact moment, all around the world, there's a lot happening. There are protests happening. There's rallies. There's humanitarian efforts. There's political meetings. And sure, there is this intention to uplift consciousness, but also so important, and perhaps most important, is this process of going inside and invoking the light. And in some way, whether we have thought that we've done wrong or right in the past before the divine, just the same for all souls at this moment, that this inner light dwells equally for all. So let us focus on that, invoking that presence of this light that is that which unites us all. So let us invoke this together, meditate, focusing on this light. And then we'll close with a visualization and prayer by Paramhansa Yogananda. So I'd like to just invoke with this prayer. I welcome you to join me if you feel inclined, or silently in the language of your own heart, invoking this presence of light. Divine Spirit, fill us with thy omnipresent light. Open our hearts and focus our minds, that we may become pure channels to share your light with all. Om, peace. Amen. And so let us have this chant together. It's a very beautiful and powerful chant written by Paramhansa Yogananda. I am Om. I am Om. Om, that, as Paramhansa Yogananda said, Om is that vibration. It is that presence of Divine Mother's love in all creation. And so we're affirming our true soul nature. I am Om, that pure, pristine vibration of Om. Omnipresent I am Om, all-pervading, all blessed I am Om. Om, Om, come to me. So let us call to this inner light, call to the divine as we invoke this light together with this chant. Feel that as we chant in harmony, the countless expressions of our supreme devotion in the temple of the earth, in our chorus of many accented voices, that we are singing only to thee, and feel that we're being lifted on Divine Mother's lap of universal love. Blessed I am Om, 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 come behind closed eyes, with palms facing upwards in that act of receptivity, as we gaze upwards to the heights of our consciousness, calling to the mother of us all, the father of us all, that inner light, that light that dwelled and expanded in Christ, all the great masters of all religions, and that same light that dwells within each and every one of us, calling with our heart's devotion, reveal thyself, reveal thyself. We'll meditate now for a couple of minutes. And remaining inward, let's close with this visualization in this prayer by Paramhansa Yogananda, as we call and visualize this energy, the quality of that motherly love in the universe, as we pray and visualize this presence of Divine Mother's love flowing through us in the form of light, in the form of peace, of calmness, of stillness, of power, of peace. In the temple of united hearts, it befits not thy lily-tendered feet to dance on the stony soil of hard hearts. On the petal of my sympathy for others, may thy tenderness dance forever. Divine Mother, may I feel thy heart throbs in my own heart, thy joy in my happiness, thy wise direction in all my activity, thy spirit in my soul. Divine Mother, I lay all the flowers of my love at thy feet of eternity. O open wide the flowers of my budding devotion, and release thy fragrance, that it may spread from my soul to the souls of others, ever whispering of thee. I pray to behold my love reflected in others. In the light of that greater love, may I behold thine unveiled face of perfect compassion. May I behold my true self in others, that I perceive thee ever enthroned in our united hearts. At the heart of my whispered prayers I feel stirring thy silent whispers. In the light of my burning candle of devotion, I behold at last thy sacred blaze of perfect love. O Divine Mother, unite our hearts as one heart, so that on the sacred altar of united hearts we may find thine omnipresence enthroned forever. Om peace. Om shanti, shanti, shanti.
Thank you so much, dear Jitendra. And as the sun makes its way from east to west, we go to Australia, where it's not yet daylight. In fact, it's the middle of the night. And we have a message from Pollyanna Darling, who is sitting by a fire. It's the equinox, is the balance between light and dark, by a fire pit. And she has sent me this message, sent us this message, and I'd like to read it to you. Sending equinox blessings to you all from the other side of the world. The fire pit, she sent me a short video of the fire pit, was made for me by an 82-year-old artisan metalworker. It's very beautiful and feels like a crucible. Very little wood is needed to create a dancing flame. And I was sure you would like to see this flame in the crucible. And so we're going to show it to you now. And so that was taken a few hours ago in the Sunshine Coast in Australia, and also the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. Another member of the World Upshift movement, Sarah McCrum, who is an educator and an activator, and Gary Malkin, who is a musician and composer, have sent us their contribution, which is a beautiful poem and a song, which we'd like to share with you now. That's Sarah McCrum and Gary S. Malkin from Australia.
Let's come together in peace. Let's practice peace as we spend our time in this community. Let's create a space where many voices may be heard, where differences may be expressed, where there's room for the full range of human dynamics, and all of it, and each one of us, is received in peace. Where we unite with each other around the fundamental value of being peaceful. So let's open this meeting. Let's connect with each other. Let's each one of us bring peace together. Let's unite for peace.
How beautiful. And you'll see at the end of that video, Unity Earth, another of our partners in the World Upshift movement, who yesterday organized a meditation for peace in Hiroshima, in Japan, at the end of a week's retreat in Asia for peace, unity, earth. And we send greetings to them and we share greetings from them. And we will be sharing all of this content with you. If you'd like to know more, sign up on worldupshift.org and we will send you the meditation from Hiroshima, as well as a copy of the recording of today. But now it's time to move on from Australia. This time we move to India. We're moving from east to west. And in Delhi, we now have a contribution from Lady Mohini Kent-Noon, who is a writer, a journalist, and a playwright. And she also started and runs a charity called Lily Against Trafficking, stop trafficking of young, and particularly young girls from India and in India. And we've asked her to give us her reflections on this equinox, on this day of balance. And then we're also going to hear Mohini in conversation with Dharmacharya Chanting, who is one of the leaders of the Plum Village community in India. So thank you, dear Mohini, and welcome to our Equinox meditation for peace.
Mohini Kent-Noon. Greetings from New Delhi. I'm Mohini Kent-Noon, and I'm a proud member of the World Upshift movement. I'm also an author, a filmmaker, and charity worker. And I'm very grateful to the WUM for bringing us together from all over the world to these Equinox Meditations 2024, to spread the message of peace and harmony, to try and raise our consciousness to vibrate at a higher frequency. The equinox actually reminds us to bring balance into our lives. This is the time that day and night are in perfect balance. There is total balance between light and dark. So this is the appropriate time for remembering that it is up to us, the human race, to bring balance to the earth. The conflict in the world grows even as we speak, with new wars and the old ones escalating, new ones igniting unexpectedly. It almost seems to me sometimes as though the human race is intent on devouring itself. We humans were meant to care for the well-being of the earth, to keep the peace, to hold the peace, to nurture our junior partners, the animals on land, the creatures of the deep ocean, the rivers, trees, mountains, glaciers, and ice caps, and the very air we breathe. Instead, the world beyond the human world is totally out of balance. Nature has been seriously disturbed. The oceans are polluted, the air is polluted. Our common resources that were meant to be shared are disproportionately in the hands of a few greedy families. But now we must work, and it is time to restore the balance. And we also need to find the balance between male and female energies, and do so in a spirit of freedom, equality, and respect. Men and women are equal. The two do not exist in two separate silos and living in a state of permanent conflict. I sometimes wonder who set up the battle of the sexes and what did they profit from it? Whatever it is, we are at a different point in evolution, and we now live in knowledge economies, and here men and women are equal, because the world is not dominated by brute strength. So Mevlana Rumi wrote, the great Sufi mystic, that woman is not a creature, she is the creator. The great Guru Nanak, the founder of Sikhism, said, it is a woman that gives birth to kings and saints. So how can she be abused and pushed back into an inferior position? The divine feminine is not inferior to the divine masculine, but equal. Without the divine feminine energies of God, there would be no creation. For it is the dynamic female principle that creates all the manifest universe. The equinox is the right time to balance the equation between the genders. And the change has to start with the individual. It has to start at home. Everything else, school, office, government, authorities, institutions, come after that only. The first teachers are the parents. And the point of change is in the person, just like you and I. I created an anti-trafficking charity about 20 years ago. And I'm the founder chairperson of the Lily Against Human Trafficking. When I started doing this work, I had no idea that I would be able to make any difference at all. But we have done 32 projects in the intervening years and impacted the lives of almost 500,000 people, including the victims, families, villages, communities, and brought awareness of this evil. So hopefully, it'll have a much larger impact in terms of change of mindset. And that's one of the life lessons that I learned, that I was not too small to make a difference, and neither are you or anyone else. The outstanding Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius, said, at dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. Each one of us has to go to work as a human being to do service to the planet and all those who live in it, to bring peace, harmony, and balance. Even the energetic process of trying to be better than we are at present will add to the reservoir of consciousness. Sri Aurobindo, the great yogi, wrote, the nature of man is to transcend himself. That is indeed his nature and the divine aim of his self-transcending. Human beings were meant to uphold the scales of justice. The earth gives us great abundance, but we are not satisfied, and we want more and more and more. And in the process, we have completely disbalanced nature. But it is our mandate to care for the well-being of the earth. But the truth is that we can only care about what we know. We only love what we know. And in order to love our blue planet, we must know about it, its nooks and crannies, and the creatures big and small who live on it. Sophisticated cameras now can bring us images of polar bears curled up in their ice caves, panda bears hidden behind bamboo forests, cubs of lions and other big cats playing in Africa, and the brilliant rainbow-colored fish who dart in and out of the coral reefs. We must look and learn from all this. And one of the best documentaries I've seen is Earth, One Amazing Day, which is narrated by Al Gore. As a filmmaker myself, I appreciate the incredible images that they have collected from around the world, including the mayfly who only lives for one day. And we are the custodians of all this beauty and all these forms of life. And now it is up to us to create that balance and harmony so that they not only survive, but they thrive. And the equinox is a perfect time to remind ourselves of this. Human beings were meant to be the guardians of the earth. And the earth is a beautiful planet if you compare it to, the images we see of Mars and the moon. But we have pitted it, soaked it with blood, hollowed out the mountains, cut the trees. And we were meant to be peacemakers. And it is time to ensure that the resources are shared by all, equality of our shared wealth in every sense, equality of love, and balance in everything. Now it is my pleasure to invite Dharmacharya Shantum Seth to speak. He is a direct disciple of the great Zen master, Thich Nhat Hanh, and was ordained by his guru as a Dharmacharya in 2001. He has been teaching and leading retreats in India and across the world, and pilgrimages under the banner of In the Footsteps of the Buddha. He is actively involved in social environment educational programs promoting mindfulness, peace, and harmony. And now he's in the process of creating another plum village in India, the community established by Thich Nhat Hanh in France. Shantum calls it Jamun Village, and it is based in Dehradun, the valley nestling at the foot of the Indian mountains. Shantum, the floor is yours.
So thank you, Mohini, for that introduction and also for your wise words and a reminder of our responsibility as human beings at this time of a planetary history, in a sense. But it's very nice to celebrate this circumambulation of the Earth around the sun at this equinox time. I think many traditions use the practice of circumambulation. I know in the Buddhist tradition, we use the circumambulation a lot around stupas, around different pilgrimage sites. And it gives us a deeper understanding of no beginning, no end, no birth, no death, no non-being, these sort of great teachings of the Buddha. So I'm very glad that we're doing it as a sort of a planetary family, as it were, and reminding everyone right from across the world that we are actually just a small, I can't even call it a spaceship, an Earth ship, just circumambulating the sun. I was going to start with the sound of the bell. A bell is we use this a lot in our meditation practices. It's called a bell of mindfulness. And when we invite the bell, we don't call it striking the bell, we invite the bell. We invite the bell to sound, and then we treat that sound as the voice of the Buddha, calling us back to our true home. And you might ask, where is our true home? And of course, we think of the true home as the here and now, in the present moment. This is the only time and place where we can have any control of anything we do on our sense of reactivity, responsiveness. So always coming back to the present is part of our practice, and the bell helps me with that. So I'll invite 3 sounds of the bell. I'll first wake up the bell, which is a half sound, and then I'll invite 3 sounds, and then just use a few breaths together. And if you're on the other side of the planet, please breathe together. We are breathing together on one earth. So let's do that for just a minute or so. Just bringing our awareness to our breath, the gentle rise and fall of the abdomen with each in-breath and each out-breath. So, dear friends, our bodies are here, wherever we are, but our minds may be somewhere else. And so what this practice does, which is the Buddha taught in the Anapanasati Sutra, the sutra on the full awareness of breathing, is to bring our mind and body back into the present moment using the anchor of the breath. Of course, this is a universal practice. It doesn't have to be a Buddhist practice. And so every human being who's alive is breathing. And so we can always come back using this methodology of coming back to our breath, coming back to our body, and then getting in touch with our feelings, our mind, our objects of mind, and so on. And this bell may be just a little bell like this right now, but in our monasteries, we invite the bell and then everyone pauses and stops together. But then one of our monasteries is in France, and we have a church very close to us. And every time the church bell rings, we also stop. It is not necessarily just a practice for the Buddhist bell, as it were. There's no discrimination on bells. And I find that we can use this also in a secular way. I remember my teacher teaching, my teacher is the Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh, and he taught us how we could use a telephone as a form of a meditation bell. So now every time the phone rings, I never pick it up for at least 3 times. And with the first bell, I just stop. I just stop what I'm doing. If I'm speaking, if I'm walking, if I'm eating, I might place my fork down. And then the second breath, I'm back to my breath. And the third breath, I smile. And then nowadays you can even see whose name it is, who's coming up. And you can say, oh, hello, Mohini, or hello, my dear friend, or hello, my daughter. Or, so whoever it is, and you're really present for that person. And even before calling, you might want to say, oh, my words can travel thousands of miles. May they be as beautiful as flowers. May they be coming out of a space of compassion. And you ring somebody, so you always picture somebody. You have that sort of mental space of love as you pass those words across the, ether. And if the other person's doing telephone meditation too, then what's very nice is that they're also stopping and breathing, and you get another chance to come back to your breath and be present. So it's a sort of co-practice. And I feel that's sort of how we breathe together and practice together with something which is really universal. I was talking to Mohini earlier, and she was saying, why didn't you tell us how you came to this practice? And very briefly, I was a political activist, sort of organizing large demonstrations, going to jail, organizing, in a Gandhian way. I was very inspired by Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi, but still there was a lot of anger in me. And I then burnt out. And I felt, is there a way of being peace rather than just fighting for peace? And that led me for about 5-6 years through many, many different traditions. I was born in a Hindu family, so starting there and then moving to other traditions, including the Christian tradition, the Sufi tradition for a brief while, tribal traditions. But slowly my I would say my propensity led me to the Buddha Dharma. I think that was, I have a rather sort of agnostic view on things sometimes, and also questioning view. So it led me there. And I also really found the teachings on interconnectedness, of interbeing, that there's no such thing as an independently existing I, that suited my intellectual understanding. And then I found a practice of mindfulness that allowed me to not just calm my mind, but to look at my mental states like anger and then transform them in a way, cultivate, using that sort of analogy of the compost and the flowers, to sort of cultivate my mind to be a more peaceful mind. And then I realized that it is possible, And there is a degree of self-reliance in that. You can do it. But what is also interesting for me in that was that realizing that in the Buddha Dharma, for me, that was that it started with the primacy of suffering. And both being a political activist and also finding suffering in my own life, I felt it was important to start at that point. But then through the teachings and the practice to realize that, that suffering is, as I said, if you use it as a healthy compost, we can actually transform it quite to happiness and peace. So I went to many teachers, in the Burmese tradition, in the Tibetan tradition, in the Korean tradition, the Japanese tradition. And then at one point, I was actually at a retreat for artists at the Ojai Foundation in California. And there, a teacher called Thich Nhat Hanh was coming to lead a retreat. And I felt that when I saw him sitting down, he felt a bit like a feather sitting on a cushion. When he walked, he looked like as if he was gliding. So I was sort of quite intrigued. I'd never heard of him before. I just come to that retreat, I was actually on staff. And the second day, he led us in what is called walking meditation, mindful walking. And he instructed us to use our breath and our step in harmony, being aware that as we breathe, we might take one step or two steps or three steps, depending on how long our breath is, and the same with the out breath. And just maybe using a word like, I have arrived, I am home, in the here and in the now. So this sort of practice of just arriving in every moment with our step was quite a revolution for me. I feel for the first time I really touched peace. Not as an idea, as a concept that I was sort of fighting for, but something that was visceral in me. And I realized that this is something which all of us do. We all walk. And I can do this every day. I just have to remember to be present with every step and putting my mindfulness with each step rather than my worry or my anxiety or my anger. And in that way, I felt, yes, I've met a teacher who I could learn from. So I came back to India, and I was brought up in India, lived all my life here, most of my life. And I wrote him a letter saying, Thai, we call him Thai, Thich Nhat Hanh's Thai is like a teacher. If you're ever wanting to come to India, if I can help in any way. So it so happened he'd written a book called Old Path, White Clouds at the time. It's a sort of biography of the Buddha. And it's a wonderful book. And he wanted to sort of come back to the pilgrimage sites and visit the Buddha, as it were. So he asked me whether I would organize such a journey. And for me, it was a great gift, spending more than a month visiting the Buddha, but holding hands with Thich Nhat Hanh, going to all these places. And he really brought alive the Buddha as a human being to me. I've been brought up thinking of the Buddha a little bit like a god, maybe an incarnation of Vishnu, but the Buddha was a human being. And that was a very important teaching for me. And it's what, like Mohini said, we're all human beings. That's where we start. And that's a common base for all of us, 8 billion human beings. And the Buddha was the same. And what I also realized is that the Buddha was not teaching any theory or ideology or philosophy. He was teaching from his own experience. And so was Thich Nhat Hanh. So as we took walks at these places, walking mindfully at all these sites, I really felt that I was coming home to my own Indic civilizational tradition, which was part of our DNA in a sort of way. And this practice of mindfulness that we were doing, in everything we were doing, he was teaching us when we were eating, when we were speaking, when we were looking at something, he was saying, bring that energy of mindfulness in everything you do. And it is an energy, again, that exists in every human being. But how to really practice it, how to cultivate that energy of mindfulness, that awareness of being present to what is happening within you and around you. So that's how I loved the journey. And then at the end of the journey, Thich Nhat Hanh said, well, you should do this every year as a practice. This is what the Buddha suggested 2,600 years ago, that pilgrimage is a practice. So from that time, from 1988 onwards, I started going on pilgrimage every year as a practice. And it was like meeting my own teacher every time when visiting, say, the deer park and in Sarnath, and sitting there and hearing, and now not just hearing, but actually teaching now the Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, realizing that this was the pathway to overcome suffering, or going to Vaishali, where the first nuns were ordained. And again, as Mohini said, we have this, the feminine and the masculine, and the Buddha was saying, yes, they both have the ability to awaken. There's no difference in that ability to awaken. And going to Shravasti, where he taught about the breathing, or Kushinagar, where he was passing away and realizing, and not realizing, but saying in his last teachings, please be attentive that everything is to pass. Everything will pass is impermanent. And in this way, then he said, okay, now also why don't you, and then, just sitting under the Bodhi tree, listening to the rustle of the leaves, crossing the river he crossed, sitting in the caves that he sat, breathing with the Buddha. And then he said, okay, why don't you do this every year? And then even do this as a form of right livelihood, which is a sort of one of the Eightfold Path. And so in this way, I think Thich Nhat Hanh provided me a path for my own life, but also a path to offer to others. And in this sort of way, then to study the sutras, to meet the people the Buddha met, the children that he met, the farmers that he met, the artisans that he met, and then to see the context of his teachings really brings the teachings of the Buddha so much more alive. And when every summer I would then go to Plum Village, which is the center in France, and I would realize how important it was to develop the fourfold Sangha of the monks, the nuns, the laymen, and the laywomen. It was like and Thich Nhat Hanh was always emphasizing the Sangha. And I remember once when we were doing walking meditation, he gave us a little sticker and said something like, I walk for you. And we stuck it in all our shoes. And it's true, when we walk into a matrix like that, a vortex like that, we are all teaching each other. Everyone who's doing walking meditation is helping somebody else to do walking meditation too. And so the practice becomes a collective practice. And also the shift in consciousness is a collective shift in consciousness. And I think that is what the hope of WUM and others are, is that how do we shift not just the individual consciousness, but a collective consciousness towards making this a much more better world in whatever way we can. And then some years later, I married, and Thich Nhat Hanh married my wife and me in Plum Village. And it's very interesting because here's a monk also giving us a path of practice as lay people, and suggested something called the 5 awarenesses, which we recite every full moon, and telling us, do this every full moon. And so like now, when we're remembering the moon, the sun cycle, as it were, we also remember the moon cycle. And every month we say, okay, the full moon, and then we come back to our marriage vows or the 5 awarenesses. And then teaching us different practices of how to create harmony in the family, how to create, which are taken from the monastic tradition, but then offered to laity. A practice called beginning anew, for example, where we water each other's flowers, and then we also, sort of say good things to each other. We offer our regrets, and then if you're hurt about something, then we share that with compassion. So thank you very much for offering this space, and I do hope that we can celebrate our transit together. Thank you very much. I'll close with the sound of the bell so that we can then come back to our breath.
Thank you, dear Mohini. Thank you, dear Sutton. And thank you for reminding us how important it is to take those 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, as we breathe into the here, into the now. I'm speaking to you from Assisi in central Italy. Yesterday was the International Day of Peace. And in Assisi, there was a peace march from Santa Maria degli Angeli to the Basilica of Assisi. And I took part in that march, and it was a joyful experience to be surrounded by so many people with peace in their hearts. And with me on the march was one of the co-founders of the World Upshift movement and of this series of Equinox and Solstice meditations, Maria Antinori. And I'm delighted that Maria has agreed to say a few words to us here from Assisi before we go back to Rome this evening, and to introduce a part of these events, which is really very much for you at home, which will be 3 minutes of silent meditation for us to hold the space of peace in our hearts. And Maria is going to speak to us in Italian. It's her language, and we are in Italy, and you'll hear my voice from the side translating into English. So now I invite Maria to come and speak to us. The camera go off for a second, and then you'll see Maria next.
Salve a tutti, io sono ad Assisi, è un luogo molto importante perché è il luogo di San Francesco, è un posto di fratellanza e di unione con la natura. San Francesco ci insegna un linguaggio universale che unisce trasversalmente tutti gli esseri viventi in connessione con la natura. Adesso passo la parola a Roger che traduce per voi.
So good evening, good afternoon to everybody. I'm delighted to greet you here from Assisi. And of course, it's the birthplace of San Francesco. And San Francesco had a universal message for the world, that a message of peace and a message that was transcendent and united us all.
Diciamo, io mi sono chiesta perché meditare per la pace, perché possiamo solo meditare per la pace. In realtà è molto importante questo, perché in realtà noi siamo uno, we are one, e così noi possiamo creare una connessione tra di noi, possiamo sentire questa connessione che esiste tra di noi ed espandere il nostro senso di pace. Quando noi siamo dentro noi stessi, noi possiamo sentire quanto siamo uniti, possiamo unire i nostri cuori in questa vibrazione alta, una vibrazione che può essere trasmessa anche qui vicino a noi.
And so I asked myself, why at the World Upshift movement do we hold these equinox and solstice meditations for peace? And the answer that I found in my heart was because peace is something that unites us all. Peace is something that can bring us all together and remind us that we are one. And by raising the vibration of peace and holding vibration in our hearts, we can feel a deep connection with the whole of humanity and unite for peace and unite for a better world.
So I invite you to a 3 minutes silent meditation, and we start with 3 deep breaths. So 1, 2, 3,
Thank you, dear Maria, for leading us in those 3 minutes of silent meditation from Assisi. And you saw there an image of the Assisi Peace March yesterday afternoon. So, as we said, the sun is moving from east to west, and we've been from Australia to India and to Europe, and still in Europe. Joining us now is co-founder of the World Upshift movement and the author of the book, The Great Upshift, and the book, The Survival Imperative, and many other books as well. And also a great friend of Ananda, the Ananda community. And of course, we thank again Ananda Village in California for hosting today's event. I'm talking, of course, about the twice Nobel Prize nominated writer and systems theorist Ervin Laszlo, and our dear friend Ervin Laszlo. And Ervin joins me now from Montescudaio, from his home in Montescudaio in central Italy. Ervin, good afternoon.
Roger, good afternoon to you, and congratulations on this marvelous initiative. I'm delighted to be able to join it.
Thank you for your inspiration for all the work that goes on around the world to catalyze an upshift in humanity. And I know from my many conversations with you that you strongly believe that this transformation, this change, must come from within our hearts. And I said at the beginning that we're not a religious organization. We are here in Assisi, but we do want to work with goodwill and faith from all over the world and of none. And yesterday in Assisi, somebody said that the Pope Francis had recently said that today the future of the world is not just in the hands of leaders, it's also very much and perhaps even more in the hands of people. And what he meant by that, I think, is what you mean by that is that change needs to come from the heart. And if we want to see peace in the world, then peace needs to start in our hearts. And I wonder if you could speak to us a few moments in response to what I've just said.
By heart, you mean an embracing concept, which we can also call our consciousness, who we are, how we see the world. Peace must originate there. As long as we see each other as separate beings in an impassionate and indifferent universe, we will be competing and playing zero-sum games. That means my loss is your gain is necessarily my loss. We will not be playing what cyberneticians call the plus-sum games, where everybody wins. Yet we are here on the planet as a remarkable specimen, as a remarkable experiment of the universe, a higher level of consciousness in this corner of the universe. We probably are unmatched in this regard. All things have consciousness, I am sure of that. But I have also evidence, and the same evidence we all have, that the consciousness that we have can be more or less articulate, can be more or less evolved. And the species, the human species that has the ability to develop an articulate consciousness that can perceive itself as well as the world, perceive, but also even if only vaguely, but perceive a higher realm, a higher reality, or perhaps also a deeper reality, because at the depths of our consciousness, we are one. We have said that very often in this meeting, but the real meaning of that is that we can descend beyond the noise, the surface chatter, and competition, and disunity of the everyday world. When we descend deeper into ourselves, what we find is a natural proclivity, a natural leaning toward association, toward becoming one. Aristotle said that man is a social animal. We are a social and a cultural and the psychological animal at the same time. We have to recover our oneness, and that recovery calls for us to go into ourselves. We hold the key to peace in the world. How we look at ourselves, how we look at the world, is the decisive element. Separateness, the surface phenomena in an indifferent universe, puts us in competition. The competition will necessarily increase. We are on a small a starlet of the universe, and this is a fact that we cannot ignore. More and more people are coming together on this small surface, on this small dot in the universe, and more are competing for increasing the scarce resources. This fact of our life cannot be denied, but it can be overcome, because we are not ultimately separate beings on a small planet. We are beings who are manifestations of a universal consciousness, who manifest this consciousness so that we can recognize who we truly are. Spiritual beings, temporarily wearing a mantle of a physical entity. Our consciousness is one, is deep, and it's embracing. With our consciousness, we are not going to be at war with each other. We will be at peace because we complete each other. We have this natural inclination toward oneness, toward wholeness, toward peace and love. This is built into us. It's part of our every quantum of our body, of our brain, of our mind. Without it, this would not be a coherent universe. This will still be a mass of chance conglomerations of particles and of inert gases. That we have lived in a coherent universe is because ultimately and deep down, we are part of it. We are part of an evolving mass of events, spiritual events, spiritual entities all. Frequencies is a domain in which we operate. Frequencies of resonation and of resonance with each other. Frequencies of coming together on the feeling ourselves one. This sense of a participatory universe of which we are an essential and deeply involved, unique part, not separate, but one. Unique still, because there is nobody else like us, but there's nobody else who would be separate in this world, detached from each other and from nature, from the surroundings. We need to recover this sense of oneness, this sense of love and appreciation, of satisfaction and joy. That is our slot when we recognize that the world around us is an evolving, holy entity moving toward oneness, moving toward higher levels of realization, as the great spiritual masters, East and West, have always been telling us. The quantum sciences confirm this. We are truly part of a quantum system, a conscious part, in that sense, a unique part. This consciousness is a great privilege, but it is also, not to forget, a great responsibility. We are responsible to maintaining peace and wellness, well-being on this universe, in this part of the universe, on this planet. We are responsible because we alone, in our immediate experience on this planet, are able to perceive who we are, what we are, and act accordingly. This is our privilege. but it is our responsibility. It's a cosmic responsibility to maintain peace, well-being, oneness, joy, satisfaction of this part of the solar system. We alone are able to consciously promote this. Our task now, it's a sacred mission, I call it, to look into us and to realize that deep down, this oneness, this love that unites us, is one that can be expressed, not imagination, not fantasy, but truth. The manifestation of the oneness of a quantum universe. These sciences are telling us this, the spiritual systems have been telling it us all along, telling it to us all along. It's time to recognize this. We are coming together at a higher level of being. This coming together is the occasion now to meditate, for meditation, is the good occasion to meditate. Meditate on who we truly are, or how we are connected, how we evolve, how we are part of this sacred oneness that we call the universe. I want to end here. I just hand it over to Roger and to the rest of you to meditate, to continue to meditate. I only ask that you please think the key to peace and that the worthy object of meditation is peace and well-being brought by oneness, brought by belonging together, the joy, the satisfaction of being part of it, being part of an evolving system, manifesting in a unique way on this small planet. Please continue your meditation. Add this element if you can, because deep down, it is what the spiritual systems have been telling us and what the great new sciences are telling us now. There can be no greater truth than this. There can be no greater satisfaction and joy and responsibility than assuming and accepting the fact that we are an essential part of the joining, of the evolution, of the realization of a quantum universe in which all things participate with all other things, not as separate things, as one thing, one thing. Schrödinger said there is no sense in which we can talk about consciousness in the plural. Consciousness is one, because the universe is conscious, the universe is consciousness, and it is one, and we are a part of it. Thank you, friends. Thank you, Roger, for giving me this opportunity to say these few words. Continue your meditation in the interest of all of us.
Thank you, dear Irvin, for those beautiful words, for reminding us of what has been a theme throughout our meditation for peace, this equinox, that we are one. We are part of a conscious universe. And we can experience that oneness. And thank you, Irvin, for reminding us that that experience of oneness is not just a feeling, it's a reality. We are part of a conscious universe. And if we want to experience our oneness, as Maria reminded us, then let us come together, join together, and hold the still voice of peace in our hearts. Feel that connection from Australia to India to Europe. That oneness, that peace, that joy in our hearts. And I want to speak directly to all of you who are watching this at home. None of us is too small or too insignificant to make a difference. I sometimes have that feeling in the face of the terrible crises and problems that the world faces. We are all one. We are all part of a conscious universe. None of us is too small to make a difference. You are not too small to make a difference. So that if we want to move from holding the still vibration of peace in our hearts, to enacting peace in the world. All of us can make a difference. All of us can do the best we can.
Let us enter on the same frequency,
I'll do more than that.
on the
So,
same vibration. Let us resonate together, resonate as one. We can do it. We are doing it, but we have to do it consciously. Be aware of it. Events like this are a good occasion to recall consciously that we are truly one, not just as a metaphor, but as a reality. There is no single quantum particle in the universe that would not be intimately, immediately, and effectively connected to all other particles. That's an experimental fact, and it's a spiritual truth. Let's live it. If we live it, then we will live better, and people around us will thrive. This is our duty, our obligation as a conscious species in a conscious universe.
yeah, we are all one, not just Erwin, not just me, not just Maria, Jitendra, people, the wonderful people you will hear from this evening from around the world. I speak directly to you at home. We are all one, and you are part of that oneness. Thank you so much for being with us and helping us to hold and to raise the vibration of peace. And we turn now to our good friend, our very own Jarvis Smith, who is based in London, but yesterday he was in New York for the Pause for Peace event on Times Square, where he made this contribution, his contribution, Save the World Tonight. And we're going to hear his song and his message now. Thank you.
Into the streets, we're coming down. The more you play Save the World,
the more money you will raise. For us to have a voice.
Please support us by playing Save the World. Search for Save the World by Harvest.
Play Save the World. And help us save the world.
Save the world.
Save the World.
Search and Save the World by Jarvis Smith.
Thank you, Jarvis Smith. Thank you, Greta Thunberg. And it wasn't just me. I couldn't hear the sound for the last part of the song, and you may have had the same experience. And I just invite you to sign up. Or sorry about that. I apologize. I had a technical glitch, but please sign up on worldupshift.org, and we will send you the recording, and you'll be able to hear the full song Save the World Tonight by Jarvis Smith, which was made to raise money for Greta Thunberg's MAPPA initiative. Jarvis, as I said, was yesterday in New York with Steve Farrell from Humanity's Team, who we're going to be hearing from later on, for the Pause the World for Peace event on Times Square, which took place a day before an important meeting at the UN gathering that's been years in preparation, launching a pact for the future. And I'm very happy to share with you an hour and a half ago, Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, launched the Pact for the Future, a brighter future for humanity, which a big part of which is the involvement of people like you and me watching from home. It's us. What we can do from our hearts, from our consciousness, from our sense of oneness is a central part of the Pact for the Future. And it's a reminder of why our meditation for peace is so important, because nothing can thrive without peace. We might survive, but we cannot thrive without peace. And on that note, I'd like to introduce our dear friend Michael Macy from the Enacting Peace Initiative. It was Michael who had the idea of meditations around the solstice and the equinoxes, and it was Maria who had the idea for World Upshift movement periodically to hold a meditation for peace. And so we've come together with Enacting Peace, and we will be holding these meditations every equinox and solstice together. Again, thanks to our dear friends from Ananda who are helping us to make this happen. And the next meditation we will hold will be the solstice one on the 21st of December. But for now, Michael, welcome, Enacting Peace, and delighted to have you with us again today.
Roger, thanks very much. And thank you all, everyone who has participated and contributed to this. The idea of enacting peace is really very simple. It's just that on the solstices and the equinoxes, we're inviting everyone to commit some act for peace, to consciously do something. It could be a small gesture of kindness to a friend. It could be organizing a major event. And our participants now are people from around the world. As I'm speaking, there are people who are conducting dance concerts and yoga sessions in San Pedro Island in Texas. My barber has agreed to cut someone's hair for peace every equinox and every solstice. So again, the idea is very simple, that 4 times a year we ask people to celebrate peace, to experience the power of peace. And then with that conscious activity, we believe we can begin to shift focus worldwide, globally. We're very ambitious to creating a more peaceful. There are no dues. There's no dogma. You can sign up at the website just to let us know that you're participating. And there are no politics. We're not promoting peace in any particular place. We're promoting peace everywhere. And just inviting people again, just 4 times a year, focus on peace, act for peace, create peace, celebrate peace, and really experience the power of peace. All of us, I hope everyone who's participating in this event is sitting in a peaceful place. And every tree that we see has been allowed to grow, absorbing peace. We pray that all of us will be immersed in this. And now I'd like to introduce the co-founder of Enacting Peace, David Less, who has been a global teacher of meditation for some, dare I say, 60 years. He's the founder and an active participant in the Abrahamic Reunion, which is a peace initiative in the Middle East. And his meditations have been used for healing trauma and increasing spiritual awareness really throughout the world. He has studied with teachers around the world and in many different spiritual traditions. He's the author of the book Universal Meditations, which is a practical guide to meditation. So with that, I'd like to turn the session over to Dave. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you all. What a powerful day. What a deep day. And it serves to kind of awaken in us a memory at the depth of our being of who we really are. We are journeyers who seem to have forgotten where we've come from. And where have we come from? We've come from the deepest, infinite aspect of consciousness, of oneness, of stillness. So I'd like to guide us in a meditation to help us really understand some of the differences, some of the distinctions that are separating us from our natural state. I really appreciated Dr. Laszlo saying over and over and over again, we are one. We are one consciousness. We are one heart. And believe it or not, we are one mind. So let's begin. Find a comfortable posture. Close your eyes if you wish. If you don't wish, it's okay. And just begin by observing your breath. Watch the inflow and the outflow of energy. And very simply, as you're breathing in, just think, use the mind and think, I am breathing in. As you breathe out, think, I am breathing out. Just a natural breath. Now just keep breathing the natural breath. And as thoughts arise in the mind, don't push them, don't react. Just let them float by. Get used to the idea that it is we who make the mind active and we who can promote silence in the mind. Don't connect with every thought. Just watch the breath. It's interesting, we primarily have two parts of our bodies that are never still. The lungs and the heart. The lungs, the breath, the infinite consciousness in duality, in inhalation, in exhalation. The heart, the organ that feels really, the organ of love. And they never rest. They never sleep. Consciousness and love. Feel your lungs. Feel the energy coming in, impurities going out. Feel your heart beating, keeping this body alive. Again, pumping out and receiving. Again, duality. And yet, consciousness, as we know, is both beyond duality and present in duality. This is the great secret of the human being. And if we're wise, we can look to the ultimate religion, the religion of nature. We can see changes occurring, seasons, solstices, equinox, sunrise, sunset, birth, death. All happening continually. And yet, as we look with a greater sense of depth, we see the unity in nature. We see how trees and plants are connected to the sky and the soil. We see passions arise in animals. And we see quiet, emptiness. We see change, and yet we see continuity. Many people have said to me, "I'm so worried about the planet." I said, the planet's fine. It's the species on the planet right now that are endangered, all of us. So what can we do? I'd like to offer a viewpoint in this meditation on consciousness. Consciousness is a manifestation of the absolute stillness of the infinite one being. Consciousness is a manifestation of the absolute stillness of the infinite one being. Consciousness is energy. Consciousness is quanta. Consciousness has no knowledge of good or bad, no knowledge of birth or death, no knowledge of time or space. Consciousness is the energy of the infinite stillness in manifestation. So how does that affect us? What we, in whatever state we're in, project onto consciousness, consciousness then energizes, feeds. Remember, there's no right or wrong. Consciousness is pure oneness. If our ego structure is very limited, then what we project onto consciousness manifests as this limited, egoistic, individual manifestation. Right now, I'm heavily involved in a very difficult situation in the Middle East. And I'm privy to see how the limited ego is fed by limited consciousness and creates a cycle, frankly, of destruction. So, there are many who believe, oh, peace is not possible. War is innate in the human being. But what I'm asking all of us to do now, for a few moments, is allow a deeper thought, a deeper experience into our beings. And that experience is to really believe and go beyond belief to the realization that peace is possible. Whatever doubt you have, set it aside. If it helps you, breathe in and think peace. Breathe out and think peace. Peace is possible. So remember our two untiring organs, the lungs and the heart. Place the thought of peace in the lungs, Breathe peace. Peace is possible. Try and experience as you breathe not the egoic passion, but the passion of awakening to the memory, to the knowledge, to the hope, to the future. Peace is possible here on this planet. Use our lungs to breathe peace. Every wonderful thing in this world has been created when we have peace. When there is no peace, we create destruction. But when there is peace, we create life. Now bring the feeling of peace to your heart. Actual physical heart. The heart chakra, the heart center will reflect it. But bring peace to the heart and feel peace is possible. Peace is my nature. Peace is the gift of consciousness. Now, as you bring the thought of peace to the heart, think of one person that you love. It can be a friend, a family member, beloved. It can be a great spiritual teacher. They can have been dead for thousands of years, at least in the body. But think of someone you love. And as you think of them, be aware of the feeling. Because this feeling is inherent in every human being. It is our desire to see perfection, to see peace. It is our desire to experience beauty. It is our desire to know and feel harmony. Now, while you're breathing peace and feeling peace and having faith in peace, let's bring in one more organ of the body, the brain. What we're not aware of is that the brain is not the mind. The mind is the infinite intelligence that gets focalized by the lens of the brain. And if we've trained the brain to live in a very limited, a very competitive way, then the lens perceives very little of the actual mind. So what I would ask you to do now is use the imagination and kind of soften the brain. Let the lens expand. Let it melt so it's not my brain or your brain, but it is the lens given to every human being. And we can focus that lens wherever we wish. And for now, for this moment, collectively, let us focus our lens on the infinite peace which the universe is offering as a gift to all beings. This is not my peace or your peace, my mind, my brain. We've become slaves of my-ness and I-ness. Let's be free and feel the pure mind of peace. And just for a moment, actually give up your sense of self. Instead of feeling your body, feel the body. Instead of thinking your mind, just feel the mind. We had that beautiful talk on mindfulness. Just feel the connected mind, the cooperative consciousness which we are evolving towards. All religions give peace as the name of God. All religions. Now think of the body as a temple. Think of the body as a place of worship. And as you think of the body as a place of worship, who will come and worship there? Well, for this moment where we are so connected, Let's have the infinite consciousness worship in our temple, our collective temple. It's as if the being of God, whatever that means to you, is present in this collective temple that we have created with our hearts and breath and our minds. And let the infinite oneness pray for peace in our beautiful temple of oneness. We pray to God in our childlike way. Let the infinite one pray within us to remind us, to rekindle in us the flame of oneness that we really are. It's not enough to say we are all one. We need to know it beyond any shadow of doubt. It needs to be so real within each of us that we are willing to become an instrument of love, an instrument of breath, an instrument of peace. And as Roger said, each one of us is so critical. Each one of us is a note in a perfect symphony. In life, we must harmonize, feel the other, and recognize the other as the self. I want to end with one last awareness. In the world of duality, there is joy and there is peace. Joy is our experience of worldliness. We make the body comfortable and well fed. We create items, luxurious items, and it gives us joy for a moment. And we evolve, and we get joy from helping another, from giving to another, from sharing with another. And we evolve more. And joy becomes the natural state, our true state in the world, even in the midst of turmoil and pain. And then there's peace. Peace is the inner state. Early on, I learned about peacemaking. That no matter how many books you've read, no matter how many courses you've taken, until one can find peace within oneself, one cannot be a peacemaker. So find the place of peace within. This is the place of real meditation, where we project onto the infinite stillness, stillness. And we direct that stillness in manifestation towards a necessary, soulful goal. We are not one until we function consciously as one. And I pray with my heart, with my soul, with my breath, I pray that we begin to experience that as a reality. I pray that our children and our grandchildren go beyond the narrow confines of the limited self and begin to understand that I and my sister and I and my brother are one. That is our hope for the future. I pray that our very own heart, our real consciousness, raises us above the distinctions and differences which divides us and unites us all consciously in the family of oneness. So let your breath become a little deeper. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm really humbled to be here. Thank you, Roger, really. And all who put this together, and all who make it happen, outwardly and inwardly. Deep thanks, deep blessings to all of us and all of our cohabitants of planet Earth.
Thank you, David. Thank you for your wisdom, for guiding us in a meditation, for being with us, being present with us, bringing us into the here and now, bringing us into the peace in our hearts. You said each one of us is a note in a perfect symphony. You, watching this from home, you are and I, and David, and all of us who you've heard from this evening, we are notes in a perfect symphony, a symphony of peace. And we know that peace unites us, we are one. We know that peace is necessary. We know, as David's just told us, that peace is possible. We know too that there are so many wars and conflicts in the world, but we know that if we want to see peace in the world, we need to hold peace in our hearts. And we also have the knowledge that we are one, that peace is necessary, peace is possible. If we hold peace in our hearts, then one day peace will prevail. And you may be asking yourself the question, I'm holding peace in my heart. I want to be an instrument of peace. And you might be asking yourself the question, how can I do that? What do I need to do practically? Well, one person who can answer that question is Steve Farrell. Steve Farrell from Humanity's team, which is based in Boulder, Colorado. Remember, as our meditation moves from east to west, now we're in the United States. Back in the United States, going around the world, from California to Australia, to India, to Europe. Now we're back in the United States. Steve Farrell had a career in business in Silicon Valley, and then he gave all that up and has built a wonderful organization that provides opportunities for educational programs to understand how we can consciously work to enact peace in the world and awaken that sense of oneness in humanity. So we're going to hear a short contribution from him, which we're very, very grateful for, and for his support for this event and Humanity's team's support for this event. And we will be sending you all the links. And Humanity's team is a great organization if you'd like to follow up with them. And we're also going to hear from Alexia Chito. She is the president of the Love, Peace and Harmony Foundation, which is based in Toronto in Canada. She's currently working on a project in Mexico. She's going to speak to us from Mexico. And the Love, Peace and Harmony Foundation works with song and with calligraphy, and by providing humanitarian opportunities, they are raising funds to build wells in villages in Africa, for example, as well as the work that Alex is doing in Mexico. And if you see behind me on the wall, behind me, you can see a calligraphy, a Tao calligraphy from Master Shah, who is the patron of the Love, Peace and Harmony Foundation. The meaning of the calligraphy unites humanity, heaven and earth, and peace. It's about peace, love, peace and harmony. And it is the symbol of the World Upshift movement, and we use it to unite our different initiatives. So we're running a little bit behind time. I hope you can stay with us a little bit longer. And now it's time to hear from Steve Farrell, and after that from Alexia Chito. Steve Farrell from Boulder, Colorado, and Alexia from Mexico.
Hello, dear friends. Today I want to share with you my dream, a vision I hold close to my heart, world peace. I know it may sound idealistic to some, but I believe it's not only possible, it's inevitable when we choose to live consciously and embrace the oneness of all life. In my dream, peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's something much deeper. It's a harmony where humanity thrives in unity, where compassion and understanding bridge every divide. It's a world where we recognize the sacredness of all beings and of the earth itself, nurturing one another and our planet with love and respect. Imagine for a moment a world where people come together, not driven by fear, competition, or greed, but by a shared vision of a flourishing world, a world where every individual, no matter their background, religion, or culture, knows their intrinsic value and the contribution they are here to make. Picture a society where empathy is our guide and where kindness is our common language. In this world, we see past the illusion of separation. We recognize that we are all connected, part of something far greater than ourselves. Our choices reflect this truth, creating systems that lift everyone up. In this space, peace isn't something we work for, it's something we live in every day. I believe that world peace begins with inner peace within each of us. It's about embracing conscious living, where we align with love, wisdom, and purpose. And as more of us live in this way, we create a ripple effect that touches the hearts of others. This is how the tipping point happens, friends, through each of us awakening to our shared humanity and our divine potential. So what is my dream for world peace? It's a world where love prevails, where unity is not just a concept, but a lived reality. And together, with all of us, we can make this dream come true. I stand for peace. Let's be the peace we wish to see in the world. Together, we can absolutely make this happen.
Warm greetings with love to everyone. I'm Alexia Cito from the Love, Peace, Harmony Foundation, founded by world-renowned healer and humanitarian Dr. and Master Zhigang Shah. Our mission is to transform lives by bringing the love, peace, harmony field and its techniques to underserved communities worldwide. I'm currently in Mexico City, though originally from Toronto, Canada, also known as Turtle Island. We have a special song shared by over 300 volunteers in 31 countries and translated in over 90 languages and counting. Along with our calligraphy art, this song activates an invisible high dimension field for transformation. I will trace the calligraphy and I will sing this song for you now. So I invite you to just go deeper into that infinite space of peace within your heart. And if you wish, you can take a nice deep breath, close your eyes, and feel. Lula, lula, li. Lula, lula, la, li. Lula, lula, li, lula, lula, li. Lula, li, lula. I love my heart and soul. I love all humanity. Join hearts and souls together, love, peace, and harmony. Love, peace, and harmony. Thank you so much for the opportunity to join this session today. And you can learn more about us at lovepeaceharmony.org. And I would be so happy to connect with you. Much love and enjoy this beautiful celebration of peace.
So I just want to say thank you to Steve Farrell, who is so much further down the road with Humanity's team than we are. It's a new initiative as World Upshift Movement and has shown so much love and care and attention, encouragement for what we're doing, because we all want the same thing. We want to learn from each other and to join together and to connect for peace and to work together to enact peace in the world. And thank you, Alexia, for your song about love and peace and harmony. Thank you to Master Shah for our calligraphy. Thank you for your mission in the world. And we've just put Alexia and the Love, Peace and Harmony Foundation in connection with an organization called Retake Rome, who organize neighborhood cleanups. Today was also World Cleanup Day, and they've been working in Rome to clean up neighborhoods in Rome with young people, bringing their love for their neighborhood into a practical way. And if you at home, individually or as an organization, would like to know more about the World Upshift Movement, please come to us with your question, with your contribution, and we will try to put you in touch with other organizations and other people around the world. We are very small. We work really to join the dots, to bring people together, to make the connections, and to catalyze an upshift in humanity and human consciousness. So please do get in touch, worldupshift.org. Before I hand back to Jitendra and the Ananda Choir to conclude our Equinox meditation for peace, please let me once again thank Yotish and Devi from Ananda Global, Ruby Stock, who behind the scenes has been our technical host, and Lauren Lamour, who produced today's event. And let me thank once again our partners, Enacting Peace, and the Ananda Village, and all who have participated in today's meditation here as guests in the studio, and most of all to all of you watching at home. You will forget perhaps what we've said, what we've done today, but I hope you will not forget how today's Equinox meditation for peace made you feel, how all of us coming together to feel that sense of oneness here from Assisi, whether from here in Assisi or whether from Hiroshima or Australia or from India, Delhi, or from London or from Boulder, Colorado, or from Mexico or from California, wherever we've touched hearts and minds today, that we are one. And if we have peace in our hearts, one day peace will prevail. Join us again, please, on the 21st of December for our Solstice event. And now it's time for me once again to thank Jitendra, Guidon, Ruby, Jitendra from the Ananda Village in California for his closing remarks. We thank you for hosting today's event, and then we'll be played out with the Ananda Choir, and look forward to seeing you all again, those of you watching at home, for our solstice meditation on the 21st of September. Thank you and goodbye.
Well, God bless you all. And it really, this has been so deeply inspiring to be a part of this, everyone's contribution. What was so beautiful is that everyone's sharing, everyone's consciousness, everyone's heart was also very unique. And this aspect of unity, also there is that individual expression of peace, of light, of love. And that, recognizing that increasingly in our hearts and minds, and rejoicing in the diversity is another huge gift. And it was so beautiful to see the unique beauty in everyone sharing, and together as we continue to invite, inspire, and refine our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions, that they may become ever increasingly in tune with that vibration of peace that's cultivated through an inner life. As motion ceases, as this stillness resides in the heart and the mind, naturally out of the soil of this deep inner stillness, awakening from this naturally of its own accord is this peace, this infinite joy, and this unconditional infinite love. And so I wanted to introduce the Ananda Choir that's going to now sing a song that was written by Swami Kriyananda entitled Peace. And as we listen to this, just as we've all heard through this beautiful program, that let us think less and feel more as we tune into the essence of this beautiful song called Peace. And then after we finish with the choir, I will lead us in a closing healing prayer that we may share and send vibrations of peace to the world. So let us enjoy now this beautiful song by our Ananda Choir here at Ananda Village.
Nightly when starlight enfolds
Let us now take a moment and feel this presence of peace in our hearts, in the focus of our minds, turning to this inner light, this feeling of expansion, of peace and harmony in our hearts. Let's visualize this planet surrounded in peace and harmony, especially wherever there may be darkness in this world, wherever there may be conflict or war, that peace and harmony may reign in all hearts, that we may all feel this world brotherhood and sisterhood with all souls. Let us now, spreading peace, spreading light, and spreading this infinite love from the spark of our own hearts, uniting it with all hearts. Let us send out vibrations of peace and harmony and the vibration of Om as we chant together the sound of Om. Let's rub our palms together, feeling a sense of magnetic power awakening in the palms of the hands, and chanting Om 3 times. Let's send out these waves of peace to the planet. Om. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om peace, Om peace, Om peace. And thank you, great souls, and thank you for all of you guides of the light as you continue to come together united in this light and to work together on doing everything we can as these perfect channels of this light to share with all who may be in need at this time for guidance and for blessings. So many, many blessings to you. Namaste.